Do you think today with earlier retirements that's missing or that's a part of policing, especially in a city like New York, that's gone? And what impact does that have on younger guys coming up?
No, it's massive impact. I learned from guys who had a lot of time on the job. Like as a new detective, most of the guys I worked with had 30 years on the job. I had 7. So there was so much that they blessed me with just because they wanted to teach you. Look, this is a profession where you learn constantly throughout your time on the job. Like the day that you think you know everything, that's the day you need to go away. So when you're talking to a guy who's got 35 years on the job, he's been a detective for 20 something years. He's going to know tricks that you don't just learn unless you've done it. So when you have guys now that are retiring the minute they hit that 20th year, you're missing that experience because you don't learn this job that quickly. And then the other thing is, this is a strange profession in that crime trends change, the laws change, department policies change. So if you're not willing to be a sponge and continue to just absorb that knowledge, you're going to fail. So to be around guys that had 35 years of being a sponge and they were willing to wring it out for you was a gift. And it's a gift I tried to pay back as I got further on in my career. But I'm so deeply grateful to those people who took the time to teach me the profession because it's a noble profession when you do it right. And I think most people try to do it right. But yeah, I'd say the impact is profound when you have folks that don't have that experience to pass on because they don't stick around long enough. And look, that absolutely dovetails into leadership. When you have people who aren't in the field developing that knowledge base from doing it for a long time, making critical decisions, they're not going to be as effective as someone who's been around a long time and seen things over and over again and are willing to make decisions based on experience.
Yeah, that's a great point, Pete. 2 things. So what's your feeling? People may not know that in federal law enforcement, there's a mandatory retirement age, 57 years old. What's your feeling on that, Pete? Do you think federal law enforcement loses experience? They lose a little bit on the top end when they're forcing people out the door, or do you think that's a necessary part of it to keep agencies young and stay current with times?
I don't think it's a good idea, frankly. Look, by the time most people are 57 years old, they're usually not field agents anymore anyway. When you're forcing folks out at that time, you're passing some of that knowledge out the door, and especially when you have agencies where you're not hiring a lot over spans of many years. Like I remember when I left ATF, I was the head of training and I also had a hand in recruiting and hiring. And about a third of ATF had over 10 years on the job. Another third had less than 3 years on the job. No, I'm sorry, less than 5 years on the job. And then the other third was in an on-the-job training status.
Wow.
It's kind of scary. I mean,
It's scary.
So as that first third starts to retire, you're going to have a tremendous portion of the organization with less than 10 years of experience. And that's where you're pulling your managers from because you can't promote guys that are retired. So I think it's bad. I know as an NYPD cop, I could have stayed on till age 62. And the truth is I retired when I was just shy of 56 because I wanted to go out on my terms because I'd seen guys that stayed till age 57 and got the boot. And then once you're not working, it's hard to find a job. So I probably would have stuck around. I love the mission of the organization. Certain things I didn't like, and I know we're going to talk about them, because I think when you get things wrong, you have a duty to own it. And my agency didn't own it when they should have. And that's why I stepped up. But yeah, it's sad to see folks getting dragged out the door because they reach a certain age when they still have the ability to really serve if they were allowed to stick around.